to the account. That's the CCCP account that peer advisors can also access. So I don't know if I think you went over that at this point, right? That part about like we have the different Google Drives.
No, we didn't.
Oh, okay. Okay, so yeah, okay, so then I'll see if I can add that in, or we can definitely cover it at some other point. Okay, so it's recording. Let me just make sure that the recording is coming as one. Yeah, okay, great. Perfect. Yeah, so it's gonna again mostly show just what we're doing, and what I wanted to do this too is because I wanted to record like us signing on, the different areas that we will use and all of that type of stuff, so that it can be easier. It can be also added to the presentation and all of that. Okay, sounds good. All right. Let's see. To go back here. So I'm going to start with this right here. I always do that. I don't know why I confuse this. The slideshow with the. I always click on share. Because I'm just, I'm a sharing kind of person. All right. So here we go. This was put together with Shelly and myself for last year, and we're combining. Again, we are trying to make it a communal so that we can get as much information as possible. All right, so here again, we're talking about the many phases of the UCTAP, and we want to make sure that we are looking at it from those perspectives as well. So within what I would suggest for sure, if you that will make this easier to understand as well, is if you don't have a UCTAP account, if you as a student you didn't have one, or you have not used it since you were a student, maybe to create one. Actually, I would encourage you to create one that's like a your own test type of account, so that you're able to see what the students see. So you're able to when they're asking questions about oh, I was trying to fill this out but I couldn't find this, or you'll be able to understand that it looks different for them and than what it looks for when we sign on through the UC review. Okay. So yes, as I think it was mentioned earlier, we have a whole bunch of acronyms that just drive everyone crazy. But for our purposes right now, we are going to be looking at the UC Transfer Admission Planner, the UC Transfer Admission Guarantee, and then how that relates to the UC application as well, right? And then we're going to look at it from the perspective of what we do. So that's where we will log on to the UC review in the account that you will use in order to evaluate, and to the other things that we need to do will be through UC review. And then I'm not quite sure we're going to have enough time to cover, because in the last time that we did this, 1 hour was definitely not enough. But we will try to talk about the reports, and we will also talk about, and we will want to do a few case studies, meaning that we will go at least over one file and figure out, what the students' grade point average, transferable grade point averages, what major prep they completed, if they completed the 7-course pattern, if they're we can also see if they are completing, or being near completing the requirements for I get to. In addition to that, we can also look at to see if the student who may have a who has a file and who may have been interested also in doing a transfer admission guarantee. We can also take a look at that to see, you know, is the student actually completing and on track to be done with their tag, okay? And then this probably, again, we might not be able to do all of this today, but the other part, since you had this morning, the admissions workshop, and which, you know, they talk a lot about different policies. We are going to use that information that you receive in the morning and apply it to a few cases here in the through the UC review. So just so you know, for the purposes of this presentation, I probably will be using UCTAP and UC review interchangeably. I'm most likely going to be saying UCTAP and then UC review because there's just the way I have gotten used to talking about this. So, but I want to just let you know that. And of course, at any point you have questions or there are any anything that's, you know, not quite clear, make sure you just stop me and we can answer the questions. I encourage you to ask the question because I think it is to those questions also that that some things that maybe we didn't think about or that we're not presenting in the best way possible can help others who may view the recording as well. All right. Okay, so here are the different interfaces, right? So we have the one where community college staff can request an account. They're able to, there is a person designated at each of the community colleges who is the administrator for that specific campus of the UCTAP. So for example, I don't know if, well, I'm not sure if everyone knows, but I work part-time at Pasadena City College. Haven't been doing that in a couple of weeks just because it's been really hectic with our office, but usually once a week on Wednesdays, I am dedicating my time to the transfer center at Pasadena City College. And through that, the transfer center director, Tamika Alexander, is the administrator, and usually it is the transfer center director coordinator that will be the administrator. Sometimes there might be two people, and those are the people who would manage the request, you know, manage when people leave to deactivate those accounts. So so that's again that would be this interface right here. On the other side, we have the UC staff like us, right? And usually there are a certain amount of people designated per campus. Usually is mostly people from the admissions office that will have that assignment. And so Brenda is not Brenda Burnett anymore. She's I think it's Brenda anymore. I want to say, but we'll take a look and we'll be able to see who else is able to give access. But from our office, it's Alfred and myself who are able to respond to the request. And you know, if at any point you forget your login ID or you forget your password, then you will contact us. You wouldn't contact the staff that actually maintains this tool. Those will be the folks up in UC Davis, and they will just send you back to us. So whenever there's a problem with logging in or forgetting your password, You just want to make sure you send both Alfred and myself an email, and then we can, we can reset it, do whatever we need to do so that you have access. And then lastly here, at the very center of it all, of course, is the student, right? This is really attempting to ensure that we have a tool that is easier to navigate. And not necessarily want to say that it's easy, but that also will do a number of different things, right? So, of course, is one way in which students can indicate to us that they're interested in one of our campuses, right? So that's one of the ways in which we can use this tool. And we are able to communicate with the students who have shown interest and be able to contact them, whether it's through email or through phone. Let's see, yeah. So then the student will have to initiate the account so they can create an account. So we'll go over that in a moment. There's no approval needed. I mean, that's just the student creating their account and then again completing the different sections. There's nothing that's required in here unless they're, number one, applying to the transfer admission guarantee, right? So if they are going to be submitting an application for the tag, that process is done within this tool. Okay? And they're, then definitely is going to require them to complete the information in order for them to be reviewed and then receive the tag. So I'll talk about that in a moment as well. And the other reason why it may be required is if programs within the UCs have this as a requirement to join the program or to meet with their representatives or what have you. So for example, for us, we do require an account, at the very least an account created for a majority of our program. In the past, we actually had a higher level of required information that included, having all the coursework that had been taken up to the time that the student was submitting it, the application for to join the Scholars Program. It was required that they would have all of that information despite any of the programs they were applying to. Again, during the pandemic, because we wanted to slim, kind of like what do you call it? We wanted to streamline. That's what I want to say. We wanted to streamline the process. We wanted to make it less difficult for the students to do this. And because we were not in person, and sometimes in order to assist students to fill this out, we kind of walk them through individually as well. We only require the UCTAP to be completed with the coursework and grades and all that for Sci Plus, which is the program that where students are taking the, a summer course through UCLA Summer Sessions. It's a regular UCLA course. And for us to be able to, number one, kind of ensure that the student was at the level that they needed to be at in terms of their writing, in terms of the of just the amount of coursework they completed, we needed to have that information. And then for the other programs that we have had in the last 3 summers, we did not require that much information. We only asked that the student had an account at the very least. So all we ask the students create an account, and we will check to see if, once that's done, and that's all that we will look for. Again, in the past, particularly because we were doing residential programs that of course are very expensive, and that we wanted to make sure that, it was not that whoever we were admitting to the program was also had invested some time in completing this process as well, right? So, and of course, because just to have some way of being able to tell who would benefit the most from the program, not only in terms of the information that that pertains to the transfer process, but that also can give us a little better understanding of their own context on which we're doing that work. Right. Okay, so at the very bottom, you'll see there's a little bit of like a timeline of like how this came about. So UC Davis actually was the place where this was first adopted, and it really was a tool for the evaluators within the admissions office to be able to electronically be able to do an evaluation. So instead of like looking at the application, or instead of waiting for transcripts, they use this tool in order to determine a number of requirements being met, and then also this tool is able to connect to already existing databases and information and platforms, of which the main one that is connected to is assist.org. So the database for assist is connected to this tool as well, so that when we're doing a review, we can automatically see if the student has taken a course that has been articulated. We're able to see that that has already been pre-populated. In some cases, we will need to apply some of the rules that you learned earlier today about the transcript review and evaluation. But for the most part, a lot of those courses that automatically were part of the list of assist will have shown automatically as transferable in the UC review tool. All right, so again, David started with this, and then as programs were looking at the transfer admission guarantee and needed somewhere to house the application, during the meetings that Alfred has usually participated, sometimes I participate in it too, but Alfred is the main person who participates in the system-wide meetings with all the 9 UC campus, and we transfer folks from all of those campuses. They recommended to look at this tool and see if they could house the application in that, and that was the next evolution of the tag of the tab becoming also the tag application. I know that the guarantee, you may not be like fully understand how that works necessarily, and so we'll have to cover that also as well, so that you understand how that process works as well. And in addition to that, just kind of like a FYI, there's an initiative that was proposed and it was approved just recently, I think this year, which is called, oh my goodness, it's had it in the tip of my tongue. It's called concurrent enrollment. No, it's not. Is it concurrent enrollment? I have to look it up. I just had it to my tongue, and now I'm not too sure. Okay, but yes, there's basically this initiative in which students who apply from high school, who are not admitted, but who show potential in terms of what they've done, how they've done academically in high school, will be offered a guarantee, which is the dual enrollment. That's what it's called, dual enrollment. And there will be guaranteed admissions to one of the UCs. It won't specify a UC, but it will give them guaranteed to one of the UCs that participate in TAG. So It wouldn't be to Berkeley, it wouldn't be to LA, and it wouldn't be to San Diego. It would be to the other 6 campuses. So that's coming down the pipeline, and TAG is going to be a big part of that as well. So, stay tuned for that. The other 3 campuses have not been required to participate in this. However, that may change. It may certainly it won't be a guarantee, but it will be something where we may have to do certain be able to provide certain services to the students so that they're able to move a little more seamlessly from the moment that they step into the community college. All the details are not hashed out for that, but again, stay tuned for that one. All right, let's see. Okay, so we are so then when the tag was added to the tool, the potential for a more automated evaluation became a little more possible. And it was when again the UCTAP in all these configurations, whether it's from the students interface, the counselors, or the UC staff, we are able to look at the courses that are transferable, that are listed in that specific for that specific year, and that are already there's already a coursework, a course approval for that. So it makes it easier when we're reviewing and evaluating someone's record. Now, as you were, I think, told earlier today, ASSIST only is looking at community college articulation. So if someone is at another UC, at a Cal State, or any other four-year institution, or in out-of-state community college, those will not show up as pre-evaluated. So those will need to be done manually. Then the next thing that happened within the UCTAP is that it got connected to the UC application, and what that means is that it now checks for minimum requirement, meaning that 60 units. What was the minimum GPA?
For UC 3 point, for UCLA 3.2, but for UC
Yeah, for UC
2.4, everyone said.
2.4. Yeah, 2.4. Yeah.
That's
Yeah. And this is an open book, conversation. You can always look it up.
No, we're not like Kentucky.
Yeah. So it's the 2.4 GPA. And let's see, this is where a lot of the peer advisors and even some full-time, even some counselors at the community college get kind of like, it's like, what was that again? So there is a 7-course pattern, right? That was mentioned in the morning as well. There are 7 courses that, as a junior transfer applicant, students need to have that completed. Regardless of major, regardless of which UC they're applying to, regardless of which term they're applying to, those 7 courses need to be completed one term prior to them transferring, right? So for UCLA, we only meet in the fall. So that will mean that by the spring, those 7 courses that are the part of the 7-course pattern, those courses need to be completed by the spring, okay? So now, this tool is able to check for that. Okay? It's also able to check for what we call credit limitations, right? Meaning that if it detects that there is a course that we only are able to give credit, where there's a credit max that we're able to give, then it will list those courses as undetermined, and it will require someone to manually look that information up. So I believe they talked about credit limitations earlier today. If I'm correct, I don't think I'm wrong. Well, I never think I'm wrong, so that doesn't say anything. Was that covered earlier today?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so you learn about, like, for example, if someone is completing the math sequence, right? And the coursework for math is sequential, right? Meaning that you need one before the next. So, for example, so calculus 1 is required before calculus 2. However, students sometimes are able to take a course that's more advanced. So let's say they took calculus 2, and then they got, not, okay grade, and they want to go back and take calculus 1 because they kind of feel like, oh, I need to brush up on this, that type of thing. So then they go back and take calculus 1. They will not get credit for calculus 1 because they have taken a more advanced course already. It would not, whatever grade they get in that course will not be calculated in the GPA, and the units wouldn't be used towards the minimum 60 transferable units either. So that was mentioned, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, so that's where we would need someone, an evaluator, one of us, to go in and figure out if that is the case. There are a number of credit limitation policies or rules. So, we will want to make sure that we are applying those to the evaluation when we are evaluating that specific record. All right, let's see what else. So for the future, but I have been hearing this for quite a number of years at this point, so I'm not quite so sure if it's really going to happen. I hope it is. I think it'll be great if it does. But one of the goals is to also automate the process of figuring out the courses that will fulfill IGETC. Also, it will allow to automate the major prep coursework, and also have the ability to send within the tool mass emails. And mass emails were supposed to be part of the original, when all the UCs proposed to be, proposed to use this tool. It was with the idea that we would be able to, within the tool, be able to send mass emails and have a bigger reach. Okay, that hasn't happened. I mean, actually, let me take it back. It did happen for like 5 minutes, and then they realized that they hadn't asked the students if they were okay with, their email being used by all these different people at the UC. So, and this has been a few years now, so it's not quite sure that there has been any movement towards reinstating that mass email with it. I hope they do, because that will make life so much easier for us. But anyways, these are some of the things that are in the I don't want to say in the works, but are in the back burner somewhere, and hopefully they haven't burned yet. All right. Okay, so I'll stop right here just to see if you have any questions, comments, any gossip that you already have gathered from the office. Sure.
It's being recorded.
Exactly. I mean, this can become like this can become a reality TV show,
If it, increases engagement, yeah.
We'll be like, you are this who you asked. No, I'm not gonna finish the sentence. I'm gonna get in trouble. All right, so we're good.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
All right, so so here it is. So tool user enter the coursework plan and tech transfer readiness, and it's linked to UCTAG and the application, right? again, and there's so much potential for this. One of the things that we have talked about, kind of began the investigation of this, but we haven't really gone too deep into it, and hopefully maybe we will this time around, this cycle, is that a lot of the information that is asked in this tool, or that there is fields in this tool where students can respond to, is information that we also ask in our own CCCP Scholars application. And so, you know, for a student who's filling this out, and then we ask them to fill out our application, it feels almost redundant, right? Like why am I filling this out like twice? And then if I might have to do this also again for the application, right? So we had started to investigate the possibility of the scholars application to also be housed within this tool. Since they're able to include the tag application, there is a possibility, and we were told that, you know, that's not necessarily a far reach at this point, but you know, we haven't just not have pursued that at the moment, but hopefully we will be discussing this at some point in the very, very near future, I think. All right. See what else do I have to say here. As it was mentioned, this is connected to the application. The students have the ability to import the information for their coursework. So the only linked information is the information that the student has entered about the courses they have completed, in progress, or are planning to take, right? And what that means is that, as it was mentioned also earlier in the morning, is that it's really important that when we are working with students and we are, you know, advising them to complete, you know, all the different parts of STAMP, we need to also ensure that we let them know that this is information that, you know, of course, will be submitted to the university eventually, and you want to make sure that whatever information is being included is accurate, right? Okay, yes. So one other thing about just that connection between the UCTAP and the application is that whatever information is being entered in this tool needs to be accurate, right? And then once it's transferred, once the student has imported that information into the application, they will want to, we always advise them to check to see if everything was imported correctly. What we have found is sometimes, like everything in life, there's glitches, right? And definitely there's been some glitches in the past with the information not being accurate as it was entered in the tab. So again, we always advise students double check that the information was exported correctly. So, that. Yeah. All right. So someone who wants to create an account will just, you know, click on the create link, and it will take him to a page where the student, it will be asked for the credentials from the student and all of that kind of stuff. So that's how that is done. Again, there's no process of you know, saying, oh yeah, you're being granted this. For the students, automatically they will be added to the records, and there's no approval process. I mentioned community colleges. Yes, they would. And when you click on this right here, this link is directly going to UC Davis. Okay, So again, if you forget your password and you go to this link right here, they will just send you back to us to take care of that. So no shame if you forget your password. I mean, this last year's where I started forgetting passwords. So it definitely happens. All right. So okay, so here's the acronym SOUP. So this is again, so this would be the perspective from the student's perspective, right? So this is what the interface will look for students. Okay, and for students, yes, there is a link here for getting their logon ID or their password, and for students, it will be the response will come from the folks at UC Davis. That's who continue to maintain this tool.
Hey, Santi, sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
Is it, it's okay we go until 5? I know we're supposed to go for 4:30, but is 5 okay?
Oh yeah, I'm home.
Okay.
I'm like, hell yeah, we can go till 8. You wanna?
But like to finish by 5 is, are you gonna be
Yeah,
able?
it's fine with me. Is it okay with the 3 of you?
Yeah.
And if someone needs to leave, you can leave too. And whatever we need you to catch you up with, we'll catch you up with as well. And by the way, also one of the things that that I have supported, the way that I supported in the past is of course this is more of a group setting, and of course you may feel, and it can be, I remember this to being intimidated by just doing it incorrectly, and I am more than happy also to set up some just one-on-one time where where any questions you may have, anything that you want me to show you how to how I access and use the information, I'm more than happy to do that. Okay. Well, I won't say I'm more than happy. I'm just happy to do that. All right. Okay. So moving right along. I didn't even realize it was already 4:30. I'm having a good old time here. All right. So here is how someone who is a student, this is where they will land. Okay. They will land in this page where it will be like all the different sections. So there's 5 different sections here, right? And these are different sections that can be filled out. There is nothing again that is required in the UCTAP per se. So meaning that if a student just creates an account and that's all they do, I mean that's totally okay. I mean at the very least we can contact a student that way, right? But of course we want to encourage them to have this. This is a tool that needs to be in order to be maximized. The more information, the more coursework, all of these different things that can be useful to us as we are both reviewing and assisting students in the process of requirements or application, or when we are trying to reach out to a larger audience, we're able to do that through the emails or phones that are listed in here. Okay. All right, so as you may see here, it says sections 1 to 3 are needed to apply for the scholars program. I actually need to change that for now. I think when it's looking like we are going to have residential programs next year, next summer, so we're going to bring that back. And if we do, then we will, more than likely, we'll have the same type of requests because of the investment that is being put, and I don't want to put it in that. I hate putting it in this capitalistic terms, but because we have very limited funding, we want to make sure that we are both looking at students who may be at a certain achievement in terms of how they have been supported to get to that place, or they may have circumstances, situations in their journey that that would allow us to have a better selection process when we have a more complete information included in this tool, right? So the more information in this tool, just kind of like the same thing in the UC application, the more information that allow us to understand the context of the students' very specific journey through their community college or colleges, the better equipped we are to select students. So again, this is and this also applies to programs as well. The only thing that part wouldn't apply to will be to UCTAG. UCTAG does not look at the context. It's just looking very specifically just at academics. All right, so just again, just to reemphasize, at this moment, for those who are applying for this cohort that the year has already started, we're not asking them, they're not required to have all of these 3 sections completed. We are only asking for an account to be created. And our thinking in there is that once they're assigned a peer advisor, we will ask the peer advisor that they work with the students to update the information in the UCTAP. Okay. All right. So my information, this is what's being asked for. And, I'm not going to go over this. This information in terms of what we want to see for when we do ask for a more robust set of information for our programs, this is some of the information that would be required for us, right? So the contact information, the demographic information, the student ID, only because some of our partners ask us for that information as well. The academic information, the transparent, meaning like which colleges they're interested in applying to, and then any type of support programs that they are either interested in or a part of already. Like, so for example, if a student attended a high school where there's early academic outreach program or VIPS, they're able to enter that information in here. And again, it signifies to us that the student has been already connected with the university. It's a student that we would want to follow up on because they have already done certain things that show an interest in receiving the type of support that we may offer. Okay. Let's see what else in here. And I'll talk more in details about how we do these things when we get to the UC review portion, which may be next year. All right. Okay, let's see. My messages. I'm not gonna. No, just kidding. You can open my mail. Unless it's a check, then no, give it to me. Even if it's your check. Give it to me. Yeah, okay. I can now tell that I'm getting close to the 5 p.m. All right. So the message section here is something that is within the tool where community colleges, staff, and UC staff can directly communicate with the student and is visible to anyone who has that level of access, meaning the community college counselors or other UC folks may be able are able to see the messages that are sent from within here, right? So, and I'm only saying, well, not only saying that, but I'm saying this so that, of course, when we are entering information into the planner, be aware that other people are able to see it, and that, of course, it's, if a student has shared information that may be very confidential, that may have, you know, certain that where we certainly don't want to divulge that information. You know, we need to exercise uh, uh, just a little bit of I'm going to say common sense, but I have learned in my 55 years on this earth that there's no such thing as common sense. We want to exercise our judgment as we are entering information in here. You know, not only, of course, because other folks can see it from the other from our colleagues, but also, you know, let's say that, you know, we hire Iridia to be a peer advisor, right? I think we did. And then Iridia is given access to this, and then, you know, Iridia says, let me look at my tab, right? And then she goes and sees that someone has entered information that she did not want to be, you know, stated in any way, shape, or form. You know, that's not gonna be a good look, right? We will have not been, you know, that will have not been common sense, right? And of course, you know, again, because you know, like I said, I know there isn't such a thing. If you're in doubt about what you can enter in here, that's a good indicator that probably you shouldn't. Okay. But if you know, you can always ask us, and we will, of course, assist you in that if you need it. But yeah, usually I say that if you kind of having doubts about entering something here, that probably is kind of your gut feeling telling you, yeah, you probably shouldn't, right? But please don't feel that you're alone doing this. We're definitely here. The rest of the staff has already some experience with this as well, and you know what can be entered and what, you know, what shouldn't be entered. We wanna enter information in a more kind of generic, general way enough so you know what, you know, how you can follow up with the student. You know, like you're able to review the notes and say, oh, okay, this is what the student needed, but not so much that we cross that. First of all, the FERPA, which is the it is law, and secondly, break confidentiality with the student, and, you know, lose the trust. Okay, how are we doing?
We're doing good. We're all nodding our heads.
You're all tapping along.
No, we're still here.
You're gonna be tappers soon, and taggers. Well, I'm already a tagger, but don't tell no. All right. Okay. Here we go. Next. So this is the section where the students have to enter their coursework. You know, we first start with the history, the list of the colleges they've attended. So you will often get this question: do I have to enter all of the schools that I've gone to? And how would you respond to that?
Yes.
Okay. How about you, Iridia? What would you say?
I would say yes. You have to put everything in there, including W's, no passes,
Right.
all that.
Melody, what do you think for $1,000 for this question? Just kidding. Yeah, $1,000 make-believe dollars.
Yes, I agree with what they said. All of your grades should be inputted, even if they weren't complete.
Very good. Yes. So any institution that is an institution, a post-secondary institution, meaning, you know, basically college universities, proprietary schools are also included in that. I mean, you know, the for-profit institutions outside of the U.S., even if they are no longer, around, any institution after high school has to be entered in here. The student may say, well, it was a school where I only took courses that were, more like developmental courses or vocational, or, they were for a certificate and they really don't transfer. That's okay. They still need to enter that information, and an evaluator will determine if indeed it's not transferable what that was taken, or if maybe transferable, depending on the policies and rules that are applied for that specific school and for that specific and for the specific course in the specific term that the student took it. Yeah. So yes, with that, and so if the school is able to, will be able to produce a transcript, then it needs to be entered here. Okay. Now I also know we will say that to students, and there will be certain students, because they just feel this is just like almost like the scarlet letter, right? That they have some grades that they don't want to disclose because they were not, being supported in a way for them to do well, right? Or they were not in a position to excel in those courses, right? And they'll just try, they'll want to not include it, right? The thing that I mentioned about this is that this is a legal document, right? So once, let's say, for example, you submit a tag, or once you import this information into the application, it becomes a legal document, right? And if at any point the student, the institution that they are planning to transfer to, or have already transferred to, finds out that that some of the information is not accurate, the student may, will have to go through a process where they're going to evaluate and decide, and if if it was an honest mistake that information was not entered, or if it was intentional to keep certain grades not visible to the people who review the application. So again, I would say, if it appears in the transcript, it has to appear here. You may think it's not transferable. You may have been told that it's not transferable. The director of the admissions office may have told that student, no, it's not transferable, so you don't have to worry about it. However, it needs to be entered. It needs to be reported. And I've seen this happen where students get, they find out that, you didn't submit certain information, you kept it, you kept that information intentionally out. And that can be the reason why we will not continue to review the application. Or if the student has been offered already admissions, we will rescind that information. We will ask, we will not honor that offer anymore. I also seen where a student was moving in the fall, and then they get a call from their parents saying, hey, there's a letter here that says your admissions have been canceled, or something to that effect. So I've seen that too. And I also seen it all the way up to almost graduation time, where the student gets, again, they find out somehow, some way they find out, the admissions office or any of the other offices that are connected to records, and they are asked to leave without a degree, and they will not, because it's considered fraud, they will not be allowed to apply to any UC either. So again, I just the repercussions can be so big when those grades and as you may have heard earlier this morning, we are going to look at grades from the past in a different way that we're going to look at grades from the most current coursework that they have taken. So, I'll say just trust that, that you are doing what it may not work out, and I think that it will work out, and that, that honesty will pay off in the sense of like you being admitted, but it will pay off in the sense of tranquility, knowing that, you're not going to be, you have to be worrying about like, oh my God, someone's going to find out, that, I didn't have that about some information out, right? So, it's just better to list everything, right? Let's see. Okay, yeah. So in here you will select the term. So it will ask you to list the course. The school's attendance. It will ask for the term. It will ask for the year, and then the school, and then it will ask in here in this box you will start entering. Like so say English, right? You start entering NGL, and it will already like give you a list of the courses that are already part of the articulation agreement on assist, right? So this will, so like to enter this information, the best way to do it is to pick the course from the list that pops up, because that automatically will check for this other information right here, and it will populate that field with the way in which this information also appears in the students' transcripts as well. So it makes it just easier all around in terms of the people who are evaluating this and for us as well as we're looking at this information, because this is directly taken from assist. This section right here where it says certified, that means that it is a transferable course, right? And because it was part of that articulation agreement for that specific school under that specific major under that specific year. So this is the easiest way to do this, right? If we see this often too, students, they may not see the course in that list, either because the course is not transferable or because it's somehow, some way is just maybe listed differently than what how they remember it. They will enter that information manually. So if the course is not in that list, at the very bottom of that list, there will be a statement that says, my course was not listed in this list. Then they will click on that, and then it will give them the option to enter all of the information that you see here, the subject, course number, title, and the grade information manually, right? Of course, the only problem with that is that sometimes the students will enter the information incorrectly. They might list the subject as something else. Maybe they will call it law or something like that, and then for the people who are reviewing this, they're going to look for that school and they're going to look for that law course, and only to find out there's no law courses that are offered at that community college that are transferable. And then we have to go through it just makes it much more complicated at that point, much more, and it of course will delay the process for being admitted as well. So again, picking from the list is the best thing if it is transferable. If you think it's transferable but it doesn't appear on the list, then enter manually. And then of course any courses that are not transferable will be listed in here. Oh, sorry, yeah, they will be listed as I'll show you in this one. What are you seeing in this one? Oh yes, what I just went by. So term, school, into subject, the list only particular courses, and then once that's done, you will provide the information in this little like pop-up box, and then you just have to just I again, confirm that the information is correct. All right. So then here, again, UCTAP courses will, I don't know what any was right there, but with prop. I don't know what that means. Meaning, I think we were trying to write pops up. Selecting the courses in progress. Oh yeah, so this is where it will give you the option to enter if the course was in progress, planned, already completed, and if it was completed, then it will ask you for a grade. Non-UC transfer courses from other institutions will not show up on that list, right? Only UC transfer courses will, even though they don't appear in the on assist, once you enter the information and are connected to the larger system-wide database, it would also automatically credit, for those courses because they will be transferable. So yeah, so courses from other institutions besides California community colleges will not appear on the list. And if the student took those courses at a school that was not necessarily articulated already, then they will be asked to submit the information manually. And the information needs to be entered as much as possible, exactly as it appears in the transcript. So, sometimes what we get is like, and the subject, they'll put algebra, and then, they'll put like that number, I think that the student used to, in order to enroll in the course number. And usually we are able to figure out where, where they're trying to enter here. But there have been occasions that I know that even I'm not quite sure what the student was trying to enter. And, when someone's reviewing your application and they, they reviewing, we start to get biased against people that don't enter information correctly, right? I mean, we shouldn't, because, of course, we ourselves see people who work on this regularly. Of course, I understand how to enter this information, but for someone who's brand new, that might not be the case. So, but again, I just kind of want to let you know that it just makes that person who's reviewing your application work a little extra hard to figure out what's going on. All right. What time is it? Oh, it's 5.
5.
Damn.
I think they're done with you, Santi.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, for me, happy hour is doing evaluations. Like,
This
it's
guy.
such a geek, huh? No, but we're gonna stop right here. I'm gonna go to a real happy hour, if you know what I mean. Yeah, the happy hour is to take a nap.
That sounds good.
Doesn't it?
Here, Mel had to.
Hey, you are there. You're not bots. So, I'm going. I tend to sometimes. Let me stop the recording.